Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gavin Fish. I am thankful that you would drop by. If you are not a subscriber and you like content like this, you'd like to see more in the future, please subscribe to the channel. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up, and also if you don't like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs down. That helps me to know the kind of content that you guys want to see. And yeah, so today I'm going to continue my coverage of the Gabby Petito case slash Brian Laundrie case. Now, I know that there is big news today in that it appears that a witness has credibly seen Brian Laundrie along the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina. I'm actually not going to talk about that today because really, I'm just not quite ready to talk about it. I think that it's interesting and I think that it's probably credible. I think I need to do a little more research into it. But what I have decided to talk about today is a little bit different than what I normally do. Normally I show, documentation. I get into the legal side of things and I kind of try to dig out clues out of actual evidence, and I try really hard not to speculate too much. In today's video, that's kind of going out the window. I have no documents to share with you guys. I am going to be in Speculationville. So if you don't like that kind of thing, maybe you should just go ahead and stop this video for now. But I am going to go through some evidence. It's just speculative what I'm going to be doing. So what I specifically want to talk about, I want to go back several days to when we all discovered that Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie likely had a gun. Now, in this video, I'm not going to be talking about whether or they should or should not have a firearm. I'm not wading into those waters at all. But we do know that she, at least in this photo, had a firearm. Now, I took this photo myself out of a TikTok video from her account, and then I rotated it so that she was upright, and I lightened it so that we could see if that indeed was a gun. And I personally believe that's not a toy. I don't think that she should be holding that like that, but I guess that's neither here nor there. What I do believe deeply is that that is a gun. Something small, 32 caliber, 380, something like that. I don't believe it is a toy. Now, if we go back to September 27th, between 6 and 6:30 p.m., a YouTube channel called Red, White, and Bethune published video where they were driving into the Teton National Park, and they spotted the van that is confirmed to have been Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito's van. It was Gabby Petito's van. We all know that. Okay. Now, several of you has sent to me videos that you want me to check out. Like, if you look into the woods, is there movement? Are people moving in there? Is it possible that Brian Laundrie was in there? I'm not going to get into those ones. That one seems really hard to really come to some type of conclusion. But I'm going to stay focused on the gun here. I know that this has been covered by other people, but what I did is I took the video and I rendered it through AI software. I enlarged it. And what AI is very, very good at is distinguishing between what is an organic shape and what is an inorganic shape. And so I want to show you this video, and we'll pause here along the way. I've slowed it way, way, way down, and then you'll see where I convert it to AI right here, and then zoom in on it. Now, guys, from what I can tell right there, this is the same gun that Gabby has in her hand right there. Of course, there's no way for me to tell exactly, but that is a small gun, similar shape, short barrel. You can see the sights, you can see the muzzle, you can see the grip and trigger guard, the ejector port on the same side, which is the left side of the gun as you're holding it. That is in Gabby's hand over on the right side of the screen. Now, many people, I'm not the only one who believes that this is a gun sitting next to the van. I'm not unique there. what I'm trying to figure out is what it means, because attention to detail is important, right? There's a case that I'm working on. I'm not going to show you a picture. There's a case that I'm working on where we've got crime scene photos of a person who police determined had committed suicide while sitting in a rocking chair. And when I showed that photo to Detective Jennings and a couple of other investigators with long experience in law enforcement, they all said, no way he killed himself. And they started showing me details in the photos. Like he had crossed his legs. Nobody relaxes when they're about to shoot themselves. They plant their feet on the ground, right? And so in working with these professionals, I've started to try really hard to think in those terms. And so I've been looking at the photos that were published after every, the law enforcement was done at the crime scene, doing their investigation. There were photos that were published on Daily Mail where the FBI has colored with like orange paint over certain places, and they've even numbered those things, right? I'm actually going to go into those real quick. So these are apparently the FBI, as they were doing their investigation, they were marking things. And I did this through AI as well. I zoomed up on this, sharpened it up a little bit. To me, that doesn't look like a blood splatter or anything. I mean, there might be blood splatter in here somewhere, but to me, that looks like a bullet impact site. Anyway, as I'm looking at all this, especially the numbers, I'm trying to look at the details, right? This one is number 21. And so we know that there were at least 21 locations that had evidentiary value for the FBI. I've been trying to think of those details to kind of see what are some of the things that they would have of evidentiary value at a crime scene like that, based on how Gabby Petito may have been killed. And this is where we totally get into Speculationville, because I have had comments and I have seen news reports where people are saying, she was buried to death. I saw one where she was asphyxiated. I saw one where they claimed they had seen the report and she was manually strangled. I saw one where they claimed they saw the report and she was shot to death. There's just so much out there on the internet where we're all speculating as to what happened, but based on the number 21, and I guess this is kind of weak, I totally get it, it's kind of weak. Based on number 21, there were at least 21 sites of evidentiary value. Now, were Gabby Petito to have been strangled or asphyxiated, I feel like there would be fewer things of evidentiary value that the FBI and investigators would have taken a look at. But because we know there was a gun on scene, or at least, I don't know that we can say we know. I really, really think that is a gun, right? I guess I'm 99% sure that there was a gun on scene. And we know that there was a semi-automatic gun that ejects spent shell casings, right? Where I'm going with this is that I think that there would have been shell casings scattered around the crime scene, and that would cause the number of sites to go up. Does that make sense? Again, totally speculative here. But I just don't think... The other thing is deductive reasoning, right? Okay, so if you're Brian Laundrie and let's say you guys get into a fight, you're extremely upset. I think that, yes, if you're upset, you might beat or you might strangle. That definitely happens. But if you have a weapon where you can, in short order, just make it happen, I think that you would choose that weapon first. That's what I think. And so the other thing that's kind of strange here, guys, is that anybody with any experience in gun ownership and gun safety and gun care does not put a gun on the ground just kind of willy-nilly next to a van. We just don't do that, right? And now, I guess in fairness, we also don't hold weapons up to our faces if we are well trained in gun safety, which is what Gabby is doing in this picture. So there is that to consider, but I guess what I'm trying to say here is I won't be surprised if at the end of the day we find out that the cause of death was a gunshot wound or multiple gunshot wounds. Anything is possible. When we're weighing what's possible and what's probable, I think the fact that a weapon is there, I think that the fact that there are a lot of evidentiary locations at the crime scene speaks to spent casings. That's where I'm falling. So I guess, guys, that's really what I wanted to share with you today as we wrap up this video looking at the death of Gabby Petito at the hand, I personally believe, it is my opinion, of Brian Laundrie. Now, in the coming days, I am going to be getting into, witness statements like that man along the Appalachian Trail who has reported to police and others that he saw Brian Laundrie and he believes it's him. I'm going to get into that. But for today, this is what I have for you. And with that, I will bid you adieu. And I hope to see you the next time. Take care. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below.